Good morning, my dear children, and welcome back to your new social science class. Today, we are going to start the last chapter from your geography textbook, the tenth chapter, Life in the Deserts. See, we already studied in chapter 5 that water means life to plants, animals, and people, isn't it? So, it is very difficult for anyone to live in places where there is no water to drink and there is no grass for their cattle to feed on and where there is no water to help the crops to grow. So, today in this chapter, we will learn about the places in the world where people have learned to cope with the extreme harsh temperatures. For example, some places in the world are really hot as fire and some are very cold as ice. So, we will learn about the life of people in these regions today. And these are the desert areas of the world. Okay, so the deserts are the areas where we are having extreme temperature. So, deserts in the world are characterized by low rainfall, scanty vegetation, and extreme temperatures. And depending on the temperatures, there can be hot deserts or cold deserts. The people inhabit these lands wherever little water is available to practice agriculture. So, we have a very limited human settlement in these deserts. Then, deserts cover about one fifth of the Earth's total surface area, and there are both hot and cold deserts that I already told you. So, now we are going to discuss about one of the important hot desert in the world. So, our first topic is the hot desert Sahara. Actually, the name Sahara has been derived from the Arabic word Sahara, which means desert. Sahara Desert is the largest tropical desert in the world, covering an area of about 8.54 million square kilometers. And this big desert touches 11 countries. These are Algeria, Chad, Egypt, Libya, Mali, Mauritania, Morocco, Niger, Sudan, Tunisia, and Western Sahara. And the topography means landscape of the Sahara Desert varies between sandy plains to rocky plateaus. So you have to remind that beside the vast stretches of sands, we have level plains and elevated plateaus with a bare rocky surface in Sahara Desert. And in some areas, these rocky surfaces are having 2500-meter height. So, now we can discuss about the climate of this Sahara Desert. The climate of the Sahara Desert is of extreme type. So, during the summer season, temperature rises to more than 5 degrees Celsius, and while in the winter season, it goes below freezing point. Then there, rainfall is extremely less and the winds are dry and scorching. So because of this, the days are extremely hot and nights are extremely cold in Sahara Desert. Because sand is a good absorber of heat which absorbs heat quickly during the day, and it is also a good radiator of heat that makes the sand cold at night. So that's all about the climate of this region. Then we can move to the natural vegetation and wildlife of this region. Okay, so we can discuss about the flora and fauna now. Vegetation in the deserts is very limited. So the vegetation in the Sahara deserts consists of thorny bushes, cactus, date palms and acacia. Vegetation grows in peripheral areas where some water is available, and such areas are known as oases. So, in these oases, date palms, cereals, and vegetables are cultivated by the people. And then the common animals of this region are camel, sheep, goat, hyenas, jackals, and fox. And more than these, Many varieties of snakes and lizards are the prominent animal species living in this region. And camel is called the sheep of the desert as it can survive without food and water for a long time. Now we can discuss about the life of the people in the Sahara Desert. The people living in the Sahara Desert have adjusted to live in the harsh climate. But you should remember that the density of the population here is very low. Then, the Sahara Desert is the home of nomadic tribes, namely Bedouins and Tuaregs. And these people practice nomadic herding, moving from place to place with their animals in search of food and water. And normally they rear sheep, goats, camels, and horses. So these animals will provide them milk, hides, wool, etc. So these tribes trekked locally in dates and rice. And these people normally wear heavy robes as a protection against the storm and hot winds. The oasis of Sahara Desert supports settled population here. So since water is available, the people grow date palms. And more than that, crops like rice, wheat, barley and beans also growing here. Then Egyptian cotton. Famous, it's very famous worldwide and that is grown in Egypt. And over the past few decades, the Sahara Desert stretches of North Africa have become rich and modern due to the discovery of oil. Because oil is a product in great demand throughout the world. Algeria, Libya and Egypt, in these countries we have large reserves of oil that are exploited for development. Then other minerals found in the Sahara Desert are iron, manganese and uranium. The life of the people in Sahara Desert is undergoing changes as they import most of their requirement from other countries. Buildings are now air conditioned. The buildings are now air conditioned and water desalination plants have been set up to provide drinking water. Now, the tractors, automobiles, and aeroplanes have replaced camels, and camel herders are rapidly declining in this region. Blacks are seen acting as guides to foreign tourists here now. And more nomadic herdsmen are taking to city life, finding jobs in oil and gas operations. So that's all about Sahara Desert.
The Sahara Desert, located on the African continent, is the largest hot desert in the world. The enormous Sahara spans over 11 countries, including Algeria, Egypt, Libya, Mali, and Niger. It covers over 9.2 million square kilometers, roughly the size of the United States of America, amounting to 31% of Africa. The chief landforms of the Sahara Desert include dunes, hamada, regs, ergs, salt flats, and oases. The Sahara has only two permanent rivers, the Nile and the Niger. But it has a substantial amount of aquifers and a handful of lakes. The temperature during the summer months can exceed 50 degrees Celsius, and during the cold season, the average temperature is approximately 13 degrees Celsius. The central part of the Sahara receives an average of less than 1 inch of rain per year. Other parts receive an average of up to 4 inches of annual rainfall. But this wasn't always the case. Archaeological and geological research shows that the entire Sahara was once green. This period between 11,500 and 5,000 years is called the African Humid Period. Oldest rock arts that are 8,000 years old show a time when Sahara was much greener and wetter than today. Despite the harsh, arid conditions of the present time, several plants like doom palm tree, Leparin's olive tree, peyote cactus, lovegrass, and animals like dromedary camels, Dorcas gazelle, Saharan horned viper, ostrich, monitor lizard, and deathstalker scorpion, call the region home. Sahara's entire human population equals less than 2 million. These people are mostly nomads. Did you know that the Amazon rainforest depends on the Sahara for its very survival? The Sahara's sand gets carried by the wind power, crosses the Atlantic Ocean, and gets deposited in South America. The sand particles pick up moisture during their journey, and bring rain along with them. This rain and dust fall on the Amazon rainforest, fertilizing it with phosphorus, and providing the water that it needs. Without Sahara, the Amazon rainforest could be potentially destroyed. Due to climate change, the Sahara Desert has grown nearly 10% since 1920. Approximately one-third of the desert's expansion was due to human-made climate change. The UN Food and Agriculture Organization estimates that by 2030, Africa will lose two-thirds of its arable land if the march of desertification is not stopped.
Now we can move to the next topic, the cold desert, Ladakh. Ladakh is a cold desert lying in the Great Himalayas on the east and on the eastern side of Jammu and Kashmir. And in 1979, Ladakh was divided into Leh and Kargil districts. And the river Indus, which rises in Tibet, flows through Ladakh. These rivers form deep valleys and gorges in this region. Several glaciers are also found in Ladakh, for example, the Gangri Glacier. Then, Ladakh is a cold and dry desert. It covers nearly 98,000 square kilometer area and supports a population of about 2 lakhs. Then, due to its high altitude, the climate of Ladakh is extremely cold and dry. The air at this altitude is so thin that heat of the sun can be felt intensely. And here, the day temperatures in summer are just above 0 degrees Celsius, and in the night, temperatures well below minus 30 degrees Celsius. Then it is freezing cold in the winters when the temperatures may remain below minus 40 degrees Celsius for most of the time. Then, as it lies in the rain shadow of the Himalayas, there is little rainfall, as low as 10 centimeter every year. And this area experiences freezing winds and burning hot sunlight. And my dear children, you will be surprised to know that if you sit in the sun in Ladakh with your feet in the shade, you may suffer from both sunstroke and frostbite at the same time. So that is the climate of Ladakh. That's all. Now we can discuss about the flora and fauna, I mean the natural vegetation and wildlife of this region. The harsh climatic conditions of this region do not support the growth of vegetation on a large scale here. There are scanty patches of grasses and shrubs for animals to graze, and trees like willows and poplars are seen in the valleys. And these willow timber used for making cricket bats. Then during the summers, fruit trees such as apples, apricots and walnuts will bloom. Then we have several species of birds are sighted in Ladakh like robins, red stars, Tibetan snowcock, raven and hoopoe are very common here. Then some of these are migratory birds also. The animals of Ladakh are wild goats, wild sheep, yak, and special kinds of dogs also. Then here the animals are reared to provide for the milk, meat, and hides. Yak's milk is used to make cheese and butter. Then the hair of the sheep and goat is used to make woolens. So now we can discuss about the people of this region. The life of people of Ladakh are simple and hardworking. Most of them are Buddhist or Muslims. A number of Buddhist monasteries or gombas can be seen in different regions of Ladakh. We have famous monasteries here like Hemis, Tiske, She, and Lamayuru. You can see the image of Lamayuru in, sorry, not Lamayuru, Tiske monastery in your textbook. And Hemis is the largest monastery and is famous for its annual festival, which is held in June to July. Then, in the summer season, the people are busy cultivating barley, potatoes, peas, beans, and turnip. And the climate in winter months is so harsh that people keep themselves engaged in festivities and ceremonies. The women of this area are very hardworking. They work not only in the house and fields but also manage small business and shops. Then the Leh, the capital of Ladakh, is well connected both by road and air. The National Highway 1A connects Leh to Kashmir Valley through the Sojila Pass. Sojila Pass is one of the important pass in Himalayas. And tourism is a major activity with several tourists streaming in from within India and abroad. People will come here to visit to the Compass, and for trekking to see the meadows and glaciers, then for witnessing ceremonies and festivities of this region. The life of people is undergoing changes due to modernization here, but the people of Ladakh have over the centuries learned to live in balance and harmony with nature. And due to the scarcity of resources like water and fuel, they are used with reverence and care. Nothing is discarded or wasted in Ladakh. So, for your further clarification, watch this video also.
Example is Ladakh, a cold desert located in the eastern part of Jammu and Kashmir, which is the northernmost state of India. Let's learn about Ladakh and the life of its people. Ladakh, also known as Kapachen, which means snowland, lies in the mighty Himalayan mountain ranges. Ladakh is enclosed by the Karakoram range in the north and the Zanskar range in the south. It lies at an altitude of 3,000 meters above sea level in Kargil to 8,000 meters above sea level in Karakoram. The mighty river Indus flows through this cold desert, forming deep valleys. Also, many glaciers are located in this region. For example, Baltoro Glacier and Siachen Glacier. Since the desert lies at such a high altitude, the climate here is very cold. In summers, the minimum day temperatures may rise above 0 degree, but at night it drops to about minus 30 degrees Celsius. Conditions in winters are more severe as the temperature drops to about minus 40 degrees Celsius. Ladakh has very little rainfall, that is about 10 centimeters every year, as this region is located in the rain shadow region of the Himalayan mountain range. The Himalayan range prevents moisture-laden winds from reaching this region. Due to scanty rainfall, vegetation is sparse and consists of grasses and shrubs. Where there is little water available, groves of willows and poplars are seen. In addition, one can see fruit trees such as apples, apricots, and walnuts during summers in the valley. Ladakh is home to some important mammals and over 100 species of birds, most of which are endangered or rare. Wild yaks, wild goats and wild sheep are some of the mammals. Some of the bird species are robins, redstart, Tibetan snowcock, raven, and hoopoe. People living here are mainly Buddhists and Muslims. There are a number of monasteries with traditional gompas inhabited by monks. Some of the most famous monasteries in Ladakh are Hemis, Thiksi, She, and Lama Yuru. One of the main occupations of the inhabitants is rearing animals for dairy products and wool. In summers, crops like barley and vegetables like potatoes, peas, beans, and turnip are grown. Due to harsh weather conditions in winters, people engage themselves in festivities and ceremonies. Tourism is another major occupation in this region. Tourists from all over the world come to see the natural beauty of Ladakh. The local inhabitants have acclimatized to the harsh climatic conditions and over centuries have learned to live in harmony with nature without disturbing its balance. Modernization is slowly making their lives easier. In this module you have learned Ladakh is located in the eastern part of Jammu and Kashmir, is enclosed by Karakoram Range in the north and Zanskar Range in the south, has very cold and dry climate, has very less rainfall as it lies in the rain shadow region of the Himalayas, has sparse vegetation which consists of mostly grasses and shrubs, is home to some important mammals and over 100 species of birds, most of which are endangered or rare, is home to mainly Buddhists and Muslims. Tourism is a major occupation.